You need to change what you're doing.
I don't know. You think so? We're going to be just fine.
He sticks it out, and it slips out of his hand.
We're just not continuing the drive. If we keeping the buck right now, we 0-4. We have this point. We got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in.
For a crowd of 0. Ramsey.
George. Evan Williams, Oregon.
Nate Hobbs, D. Mill High School.
Giants QB Jackson Dart staggered out of the showers, water still dripping down his chest, steam clinging to his skin after winning his first NFL start. His legs trembled, his voice was husky, his eyes half-lidded. He'd been pounded into the turf all afternoon, hit again and again, and every ache showed, but his lips curled into a sly grin. Then Brian Dable strode over, grabbed him by the neck, and pulled the rookie QB into a sweaty, lingering embrace, steam rising around them like it was part of the game plan all along.
Shane. Shane, Shane. A-L-A-N-Allen. Allen.
Hey, the 38th parallel NFL Week 5 preview, but mostly going to talk about the Thursday night football game between the Rams and the 49ers. But first, I want to give a shout out to New York Giants insider Wesley Steinberg. That's where I got that from, where I was talking about the love story between Jackson Dart and Brian Dable. So I stole that from you, sir. I'm sure you will not sue me later. Alan, how are you doing, sir?
It's understandable considering that this is the only chance that Brian Dable has of being a head coach of the New York Football Giants this time next year. But as I've already predicted, it's too little too late.
I mean, he looked so happy after that win. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I couldn't remember how it was like to win. Thank you so much, Jackson. I really appreciate it."
Well, there's still a few teams left that haven't felt that feeling quite just yet.
That's true.
This year. Who are we down to now? The Titans, the Saints, the Jets. Is that it? Are those it? Okay? Well, there you go. Good luck to those teams. Maybe we'll talk about them a little bit more later on the show. We're going to kick off here with the Week 5 Q&A. Shane, how about this? Thursday Night Football, backup quarterback Mac Jones puts together another stellar performance against the Rams, 33 of 49, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's a 26-23 overtime victory. And that's all while nursing a bad knee, mind you. He started 3 of their 4 wins. He was on the bench, by the way, for their 1 defeat. 6 touchdowns and only 1 interception over that span. Now, in comparison, Brock Purdy has similar yards per game and completion percentage, but he's turned the ball over 5 times in 2 games, going 1-1 over that stretch. With Purdy still week to week with turf toe, how serious are the rumors of a quarterback controversy in San Francisco?
Well, I mean, I go through 49ers Twitter and I see it. I definitely see it. I mean, here's what I'm going to say about this. I don't think there is a controversy, and the only reason why I say that is because Brock Purdy was paid how much money? 250 over 5 years or whatever it was. They have a lot of money invested in Brock Purdy. I mean, and then they're going to what? Hey, Mac, I know you've been playing well, but guess what? You're going back to the bench, and we're going to have our multi-millionaire go back out there and see what happens. So I'm going to go in and say that I think, and from a scale of 1 to 10, I think it's about a 4. I'm sure there's those who are saying, no, Mac Jones needs to be out there from now on. I don't even care if Brock Purdy's 115%. I don't even care. Mac Jones needs to be out there for forever now. And look, they signed up for 2 years. What I think should happen after the end of the season, whatever happens, win Super Bowl, whatever, it doesn't matter. I think Mac Jones should stay. And then maybe after that, then see what happens. As of right now, I'm going to give it a 4. I don't think it's too serious.
I think that there is a 0% chance that Mac Jones is a San Francisco 49er this time next year.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If as soon as Mac Jones has an awful game, because look, even the best quarterbacks in the league don't go 17-0, right? So as soon as Mac Jones goes out there and has a stinker, kind of like what Brock Purdy had against the Jacksonville Jaguars a week ago, then everyone's going to be right back on the Purdy train. You're right. So look, they've got $265 million invested in this guy over the next 5 years, right? Yeah. So the 49ers are committed no matter what. Like, let's say hypothetically, Brock Purdy is done in San Fran and they want to start Mac Jones. They're still going to have to sign Mac Jones to a new contract. So they're just going to be paying more money. Whereas vice versa, who are they going to get to trade for Brock Purdy and take over that contract? It's just not happening. Let's give it a few more weeks before we call it a serious controversy, I say. But hey, with all that said, look, one thing Mac Jones is doing is he's playing himself into a starting gig somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, also from last night's Thursday night football game between the 49ers and the Rams. I don't know if you remember that. Those were the two teams that were playing on Thursday. Score of 23-20. Now, Kyren Williams was about to cross the goal line. I don't know if you know this, but he was about to cross the goal line, and then something happened. You know what happened? He fumbled the ball. He fumbled the ball.
Did he, though?
And
boom.
Yeah, he fumbled the ball because Alfred Collins freaking punched it right out of his hand, but he also apparently hit him right in the freaking head. Hit him right in the jawline there.
Wow. Let's get another look at that.
Look at that.
Boom.
That was nice.
Oh, man.
Now, some are saying because of that it doesn't look too good because what is it called? A peanut punch, right? A peanut punch. Mm-hmm. So there are complaints about that this wasn't called a penalty. Could have been like a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. So the complaints are mounting that this tactic should be banned. Now, is the peanut punch, in your opinion, the next tush push?
So I'm going to say that it's definitely not at the level of being the next tush push, but let's break down kind of where we are with both of those fouls, right? The biggest problem with the tush push isn't that it exists or that the Eagles do it really well, because other teams are more than welcome to do it. The biggest problem that we've had with the tush push so far this season has been the fact that they're not officiating it well. We've all seen the replays of the Eagles false starting repeatedly on tush pushes, particularly in that Eagles-Chiefs game. And even after the league made it a point of emphasis to watch for that, they were getting away with it again the very next week. So the point being is that we can, quote unquote, fix the tush push by simply enforcing the penalties we have now. I think you can do the same thing here with the peanut punch. Now, look, you see defensive tackle Alfred Collins right there giving just an absolute heck of a right hook.
Oh, yeah.
To Kyren Williams. Watch it right here. Boom.
Oh, man.
If that guy's not wearing a helmet, he is KO'd right there, my friends. Now, to be fair, Kyren Williams did not have two arms on the ball, and a fumble is a fumble. That's his fault. Now, with that said, Shane, I know you've got the graphic. We already have a penalty. It's called illegal hands to the face. Illegal hands to the face, a forcible act in the head or neck area would have resulted in a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the Rams. Probably would have put the ball basically somewhere around the 1-yard line, first and goal at the one with under a minute to play. Rams have the ball down 3, right? So I know this isn't what you want to hear, right? That the Rams getting first and goal at the 1, they're almost certainly going to win the game from there. But that's what should have happened. If you be honest with me here, watching that replay right there, Shane, if you see that replay, would you call that illegal hands to the face on the 49ers?
I mean,
be honest.
He was going forward. So and he's going for the ball.
Doesn't matter what he's going for.
I would say no.
Okay, so you're being biased. I kind of figured you would be. So you're telling me right there you do not see forcible head contact to the head and shoulder area by the 49ers player's fist?
No.
Okay, so Shane is totally disqualified from ruling on that. That is absolutely an illegal hands to the face. Now, of course, we don't know that the Rams could have gotten into the end zone from there. The 49ers made a heck of a stop in overtime. Then maybe that's what happens. But they didn't officiate it correctly. So we don't have to ban the peanut punch. Let's just fix it.
Okay. How would you go about doing that?
I just discussed it at great length. You that's an illegal hands to the face.
Why didn't they call it then? They had replay. They could have just called it. They could have reviewed it, but they didn't.
Penalties are not reviewable, my friend.
Why?
Oh, so you want to make penalties reviewable? Look, the league has had this conversation, but the problem you're going to get into there is the league has been trying to cut down runtime. They don't want to see 4-hour football games. We want 2-hour and 45-minute football games, depending on whether or not it's in prime time, right?
Yeah.
If you want to see 4 and 5 hour football games, start throwing red flags for every yellow flag.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. I mean, to be fair, too, the Niners did fumble when they got the I think it was the punt return or kickoff, and they fumbled it, but they didn't call it. There was no penalty on that either, even though it was clearly a fumble by the returner, but they didn't call it.
Yeah. Do you know why they didn't call it?
Why?
Because his forward progress was stopped, and forward progress is not reviewable.
So then forward progress for the Rams player, that's still hands to the face.
How does that matter? So you want a makeup call? Is that it?
No, I want Alfred Collins to punch that guy right in the face.
So you
right in the face, yeah.
Okay, all right. So you want him to commit illegal hands to the face, but not get called for it.
Yes.
All right, we better move on to the next one because I think you flew the coop on this one, buddy. His forward progress was stopped. They actually lifted him up off the turf and backwards.
Yeah.
His forward progress. I don't think you can discuss the 49ers objectively.
No, I can't. I'm very biased. I don't know if you know this, but I'm very biased.
All right. Well, anyway, moving on.
That's you.
I'm just blown away by this whole last 5 minutes that you're telling me that wasn't an illegal hands to the face. There was no forcible contact in the head or neck area.
No.
You're doing your absolute best poker face too when you say that. All right. Moving on, the Nevada Supreme Court handed former Raiders head coach John Chucky Gruden another victory against the NFL, who may appeal to the Supreme Court of the United States next week. This stems from Gruden's lawsuit against the NFL for allegedly leaking his emails that were ultimately the cause of his disciplinary trouble and ouster. Now, the NFL hoped to handle the whole scandal via arbitration with Commissioner Roger Goodell officiating, but Gruden's lawsuit currently moves forward with the Nevada Supreme Court saying it is, quote, unconscionable that Gruden be forced to adhere to an arbitration ruling conducted by the very party he is suing. Makes sense to me. Should it continue, we'll get to discovery, which includes the release of many more communications that could potentially implicate or otherwise embarrass a number of other figures in the NFL. Shane, how interested are you in seeing that?
We are freaking coming. We are coming.
I'm very interested. I hope that John Gruden gets everything he wants from the NFL, and I hope he continues working for Barstool. He's doing very good over there.
Yeah, look, I've always liked John Gruden. I've never really liked John Gruden as a coach. I mean, he's just that angry Chucky on the sideline. But I mean, as an analyst, Gruden is great. He can break down stuff magnificently. Now, I didn't mention also Brian Flores's lawsuit pending against the NFL because I kind of felt like I didn't want to just gloss over that. It kind of deserves its own segment, maybe another day. But as it pertains to Gruden, I think at the end of the day, he's probably never going to coach again in the NFL. But by God, if he's going down, he's taking some people with him. That's what it's going to happen.
Yeah, like I said, I think John Gruden, he's doing good over at Barstool Sports. I do sometimes watch his previews of the games. He does a very good job breaking them down. He's a former coach, obviously, so he knows what he's talking about. And yes, he is a Chucky. So I do believe in that. He does kill people, as far as I know. He's a Chucky doll. I don't know if you know that, but he is a Chucky.
You should run a disclaimer that says this is satire. This is he meant that ironically. We're not.
Did I?
Yeah. This guy sues people, Shane.
Sue me. Oh. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's do this. I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready for the next suing. Come on, John. You can do this. You can do this, John. I have faith in you. Anyway, the Cleveland Browns announced they are benching quarterback Joe Flacco because I don't know if you know this, but he's a skeleton. He's a skeleton.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah. In favor of Dillon Gabriel. And they're going to London against the Minnesota Vikings. London, England. They're going to London. He's going to be the 41st starting quarterback. 41st. Isn't that crazy? Cleveland Browns still haven't found their franchise quarterback. First-time starters have amassed a 0. Big old 0-16 record in those starts. Joe Flacco. Now, this is kind of maybe a bigger story. Joe Flacco is going to be the backup, and Shadur Sanders is still going to be quarterback 3, which is kind of funny because you would think he would move up to quarterback 2, but no, that's not going to happen. But that news prompted a mime-like performance from Sanders upon hearing the news. I mean, look at this guy. Now, by the way, for those who are watching, there's no sound, but that's literally what he was doing. There's no sound coming out of his mouth. 0. Anyway, Alan, do you think that's a good decision to go with Dillon Gabriel as opposed to this fella right here?
I don't think the question is who they're going with between Gabriel and Sanders. I think the question is this just the right move in general? Because Sanders is QB3, so they were never going to go with Sanders. It was always going to be, are they benching Flacco for Gabriel, or are they going to stick with Flacco? I think the answer is that it's the right move if the Browns are going to commit to building the offense of the future. So when you've had 41 starting quarterbacks in 26 years since the franchise's rebirth, and even take for instance Flacco. Look, I like Joe Flacco. But Joe Flacco's opportunity to lead this franchise was 2 years ago when he came out of retirement and led that team to the playoffs. It was a magnificent performance. But how did the team reward him? They decided, thanks for the postseason trip. We'll see you on the other side. We're going back to Deshaun Watson. Well, obviously, how has that worked out for the Cleveland Browns? So, let's find the silver lining, right?
Yeah.
Look, you're not going to build a team around Joe Flacco. He's nearing the end of his rope anyway. You're getting close to finally being out from underneath the Deshaun Watson cloud, right? So you're going to get some salary cap back, free up some space. Look, you drafted Dillon Gabriel. You want to find out if he's the guy or not. The only way you can find that out if he's on the field. And you have head coach Kevin Stefanski, who is the best head coach that the Browns have had since '99 by far, ladies and gentlemen. He was NFL head coach of the year like a year or two ago. So come on, the dude can coach. But the only way that the Browns are going to go from just a flash in the pan to like genuinely being contenders, just even within their own division, is they're going to have to build an offense from the ground up and quit this trying to find a quick fix in free agency to hope to score enough points to keep up with their defense. So am I a fan of Joe Flacco? Yes. Are the Browns destined to go anywhere this year? No. And if you're not destined to go anywhere this year, find out what you got at quarterback. But to be clear, this has nothing to do with Shadur Sanders. The media is making Shadur Sanders a part of this decision. He's not a part of this decision. He's the QB3 on the roster. Most teams quarterback 3, you don't even know who they are because they're not even active on game days. It's not about Shedeur Sanders. Let's see what Dillon Gabriel can do.
Well, they shouldn't have drafted him in the first place. That's all I got to say about Shedeur Sanders.
Well,
because this is what's happening. It's a media circus. He's just there standing around talking. Well, talking, quote unquote, talking. What else are they supposed to do? I don't know. Shedeur Sanders, I think, he maybe needs to go over to New England. Maybe go over there and see what happens.
Shedeur Sanders is the yin to Tim Tebow's yang.
Yeah,
I said it. Yeah, I said Tim Tebow's yang on the show. No. Why not?
Oh no.
But moving on to tonight's main event, we're 1/4 of the way through the season, Shane, mm-hmm. and let's take a quick look at if the playoffs were today. Taking a look, courtesy of our friends over at ESPN, who are totally not friendly with us whatsoever. We have the playoff standings for both the AFC and NFC, but we also have some percent chance graphics for teams to make the playoffs, win their division, earn a bye, or make the Super Bowl. So Shane, let's what do you think? Start with the AFC or NFC?
AFC.
All right, let's start with the AFC. Looking at the AFC standings and chances to win. Is it?
I mean, right now is Buffalo Bills, right? Buffalo Bills are number one.
Well, yeah, I thought you were going to put the standings up where people could see the standings.
I had it, but now it's not there anymore for some
I'm not going to read all this crap. Okay, well, anyway, the Buffalo Bills are the only 4-0 team in the AFC, right? So they're obviously the clubhouse leaders. You've got a myriad of 3-1 teams: Chargers, Steelers, Colts, Jaguars, followed, of course, by the 2-2 Cincinnati Bengals are still technically the number 6 team, but we all know that the Cincinnati Bengals are not going to still be in the top 6 in the playoff hunt. Just give it another week or two. And then you have a bunch more 2-2 teams: Kansas City Chiefs, Denver Broncos, New England Patriots, which is kind of a surprising one. So typical for this time of year, a big log jam after your top teams. For me, if you're looking at percent chances, I think it's pretty clear that Buffalo is far and away the leader in their division and likely to win. So that's a free playoff spot no matter what your record is. And the Chargers are currently the leaders in a competitive AFC West, but the Chiefs got Xavier Worthy back. Rashee Rice is right down the road. The Chiefs might come back. You have the Colts. The Colts currently are possessing a 75% chance to make the playoffs thanks to their 3-1 start. But keep in mind, the Jacksonville Jaguars are also 3-1. The Colts only currently have a tiebreaker based on percentage in conference games right now. So I think that, in my opinion, those are the teams that really, really kind of deserve the most credit at this point for what they've done so far in the year to actually set themselves apart from the other teams. I know you might be thinking, well, hey, you've kind of left out the Pittsburgh Steelers there. They're 3-1. They're leading their division. Steelers, I think you and I both have kind of agreed on this, that the Steelers just feels like that's a trap, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like the Steelers are a trap and they're going to implode? What do you think?
To be honest, I don't know, because I said that at the beginning of the season where I wouldn't bet on the Pittsburgh Steelers to really do anything, but here they are at 3-1 and they're making me look stupid. So, and Aaron Rodgers is looking decent for being 78 years old. So I'll give him all the credit in the world for doing that, at least.
It's unfortunate. And from there, again, the Bengals, I don't think have a realistic chance. We're not discussing teams that have losing records currently. The Texans are behind now, 2 winning teams in their division. Same goes for the Baltimore Ravens, although at least in the Ravens case, it still feels like 1-3 is bad, and this weekend is going to go a long way to determining if there's much of any future there with them facing the 1-3 Houston Texans this weekend. But as far as the AFC goes, I'll leave you with this parting gift before we move on to the NFC. The Bills are currently the clubhouse leader. I'm sure the Bills would love to have a first round bye and hosting playoff games in Buffalo in January and February. The problem is we just haven't seen Buffalo sustain their regular season success into the postseason, and we haven't seen Josh Allen take that next step. Is this the year that they finally do it? If the Chiefs and Ravens are both a little down, is this the year that Buffalo finally overcomes it? All I'll say is I'm not ready to sign off on the Bills being my favorites until the Bills can prove that they can do something in the postseason.
Well, moving on to the NFC, we have first off the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs. They're 4-0. They're one of the handful of undefeated teams so far. So we got Philadelphia Eagles at number 1. And then the 49ers, we just saw Thursday Night Football beating the Rams, and are 4-1, 3-0 in the division, which bears well for them. So good on them. Now, here's where it starts getting a little interesting here. Detroit Lions are 3-1. Now, they win the tie over Tampa Bay based on strength of victory. It's like, okay. I mean, look, this is where it starts kind of getting technical, and it's sort of maybe a little confusing, but I don't know. That's my dumb brain kind of trying to understand that. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, are going to be they're kind of like the dark horse, I think, of this whole thing. You know, Baker Mayfield's doing Baker Mayfield things. I like him, and I think Tampa Bay's a scary team. I think of all the teams that are kind of below 3, from 4 down to 8, Tampa Bay is that really scary team. Now, Seattle,
I think that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think the thing about Tampa Bay is that they are the same kind of a team as the Buffalo Bills, in that they already have a strong divisional lead in a weak division. Look, the Panthers and Saints are going nowhere. It's basically down to the Bucs and Falcons, and the Buccaneers already beat the Falcons in Atlanta in week 1. So they've got that huge feather in their cap, right? So while we might not think that the Fighting Bakers are like legitimate Super Bowl contenders, the fact of the matter is they're borderline getting a free ticket to the playoffs, right? And so if we're trying to look at the playoffs were today, are the Bucs in contention for our top seed? Probably not. But they're going to be there. They're going to be there, and they're going to be hosting a playoff game because they're going to win the NFC South. The thing is, with the Rams, disappointing loss last night, obviously that drops them to 3-2. But I think the Rams are a measurably better team than all the teams below them on that list, Falcons on down, which makes sense because the 7th spot is the final spot in the NFC playoffs. And then, I mean, if anything, the NFC is very interesting because I think those top 7 teams are far and away better than any other team. I don't think so. You've got Atlanta Falcon 2-2 at 8. You got Minnesota Vikings 2-2 at 9. Arizona Cardinals 2-2. Chicago Bears 2-2. Washington Commanders 2-2. There's a lot of traffic back there. But I think that those top 7 teams are a full rung of the ladder better than any of those teams. And so I would not be surprised if we are looking on our screen at who the 7 NFC playoff teams will be. We just don't know what the order is.
Yeah, I think as the season goes on, obviously we're going to have a better picture of this. But I will just say, don't sleep on the Commanders. Don't sleep on them. I think they could possibly get into that 7-6 spot. So I wouldn't sleep on them. Yeah, I mean,
okay, it is true. Jaden Daniels is back this week.
Yeah. So I would just go ahead and I wouldn't place my freaking mortgage on that, but I'm just saying, don't be surprised if they make it in there. So,
all right. Well, I will let all the all the relevant parties know that you're not betting everything you own on that.
Well, I mean,
on that prediction.
I've shown just how biased I am. So,
this is true.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just proud of you for acknowledging that the 49ers don't deserve that number 1 spot yet on that list. I'm proud. Good job.
Well, I mean, they're 4-1, so what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, on that note, Shane, let's move on to our second edition of the Lucky 7 Lightning Round. Now, this is a special first quarter of the year edition of the Lucky 7 Lightning Round. Are you ready?
Yes. Yes, I am ready.
Question number 1. What was your quarter 1 game of the year?
Ooh, so I would honestly say that the Cowboys and Packers tie game was a really good game. It was a really good game.
Okay, I've got a different answer, but let me just ask you another question really quick. If it was a tie game, does that mean was that truly a tie game, or was that actually kind of a victory for the Cowboys and a loss for the Packers? Be honest. Be honest.
All of the above.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say week 1 Sunday Night Football, Baltimore 40, Buffalo 41. 22-point fourth quarter by Buffalo. Huge comeback victory. 400 yards and 4 touchdowns by reigning MVP Josh Allen. Nearly 200 yards and 2 touchdowns by Derrick Henry, but the back-breaking fumble. Maybe signs of things to come by both teams, which has turned out to be true so far. Question number 2, what's your quarter 1 biggest surprise so far this year?
Biggest surprise. So I have a couple, so bear with me here. I'm going to try and go as fast as I can with these.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback Drake May of the New England Patriots. He's 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this, but he's 6th in passing yards at 988 passing yards.
Okay.
He has a 74% completion percentage. That's not too bad. It's not too bad.
No.
He's only thrown 2 picks. Now, here's the knock on him. It could be him, could be the offensive line, probably a combination of both. He's been sacked 13 times. Not that good. So there's the knock on him. But Drake May, hey, he's not doing too bad. So he's kind of silently doing pretty well over there in New England. Now, my next one here, again, I'm gonna be real quick on this. Jaguars are 3-1.
Yes.
Remember at the beginning of the season, Liam Cohen, that press conference, Duval, remember that? Nobody was taking the Jaguars seriously when that happened. They're like, here comes 0-17 for you Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, they're 3-1. And they're averaging 348.5 total yards. They've only given up 72 points. Not bad. Now, my last surprise here. I know I'm kind of cheating on this, but I really feel like I need to get this out. CMC is number 3 as of right now. And it's kind of inflating because it just played yesterday as of now. But he's number 3 in receiving yards at 387 receiving yards. Yes, receiving yards. Yes, because as a rusher, he's terrible. Now, the closest running back is number 16, Bijan Robinson, 270 receiving yards. So they're clearly using CMC more as a receiver than as a rusher.
With no George Kittle, CMC, you are a tight end.
Yeah, basically.
My biggest surprise is Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes.
Jones is 3rd in yards, 4th in completion percentage, number 1 in total QBR. I'm sorry, no one saw that coming. They're 3-1 with a plus 40 point differential. They got a manageable schedule remaining. Running back Jonathan Taylor, by the way, also is the current clubhouse leader for the rushing title. And they're also 11th scoring defense. The Colts are kind of a good team.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving on to the next question. What's your first quarter biggest disappointment?
Biggest disappointment as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and say the Baltimore Ravens at 1-3.
Oof.
I mean, John Harbaugh, he's a good coach. Lamar Jackson, he's supposed to be top 3 best quarterback in the world right now, but they're 1-3. Now, I know it's a team sport, so it's not just all on Lamar Jackson, but they're 1-3. So that's a big disappointment. They should not be 1-3 right now. That's all I got to say about that.
I tell you what, a lot of people would argue that Lamar Jackson has played like the best quarterback in the NFL still this season. But that defense is cover your eyes awful.
Yeah. Awful.
Speaking of cover your eyes awful, how about the Houston Texans? They're 1-3. Their lone win is over the Titans, who are the worst team in the NFL.
Congratulations.
Listen to this. You and I have talked about this exact subject so far this year. The Texans spent $81.5 million and picks in the offseason to totally rebuild their offensive line. That's nearly a third of their salary cap, Shane. And yet, they've given up the 7th most sacks, 8th highest pressure rate, their 9th worst run block win rate. All of their metrics are slightly worse than last year's averages. So to add insult to injury, this 1-3 team is next on the road at Ravens, at Seahawks, then 49ers, Broncos, Jaguars. After another date with the Titans, they've got the Bills, at Colts, at Chiefs. They may seriously go 1-8 over that stretch, which would bring them to 2-11. Now, look, I'm not saying that DeMeco Ryan's going to get fired because they have one bad year, but somebody's getting fired.
It's probably D'Amico.
Racist. All right. Speaking of, we're moving on to who is your Q1 Coach of the Year?
Well, I bet you'll be shocked by my answer. Kyle Shanahan.
Jesus Christ. All right. Starting next week, I'm doing the production and I screen all your answers. That's what we're doing. This is ridiculous.
I'll give you the argument for me saying Kyle Shanahan.
Okay, all right. Why is this?
It's okay. It's all right.
I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. No, you were telling me that Kyle Shanahan was going to get fired like 2 weeks ago.
I did say that is true. But
now he's the Coach of the Year.
4-1. They've had injuries up the booty hole.
They have.
And the fact that they're still being extremely competitive with third string, fourth string players.
Sure.
So the fact that he could still do that with not all the Avengers or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go and say Kyle Shanahan with all the injuries that they've had to endure for this first 5 weeks now. I don't think they're doing too bad because last year, what were they? 6-11? I can't remember what the net record was off the top of my head. They were dealing with injuries too then. And then they're
sure
even probably worse now. And yet 4-1. Now look, you can say, hey, the schedule is pretty easy. Okay, great. You still have third stringers out there trying to, who were the receivers yesterday? Kendrick Bourne. They just got him off. He's like he's 15,000 years old. That guy. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Who's that? So, Kyle Shanahan is Coach of the Year. And yes, I did say he was going to get fired at the end of the year. Congratulations. You are an idiot.
I'm going to go with head coach Shane Steichen of the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts finished 8-9 last year. Decided to move on from Anthony Richardson to start this season. They went out and signed Daniel Jones. They did. I was going to say signed him from the New York Giants. No, they didn't because the Giants had already cut him. So they signed him off the street is where they signed him from. But, look, they raised some eyebrows when they said we're going into week 1 with Danny Dimes at QB. But we already talked about his stats to start the year. Listen, with their remaining schedule that the Colts have, which is more Titans, more Jaguars, more Texans, I think that they can realistically finish 12-5 or 13-4. And if they do, he's a walk-off Coach of the Year.
Yeah. No disagreements.
All right. Few more real quick. Who is your Q1 offensive player of the year?
Staying with the Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor, 414 rushing yards, 5.4 yards per carry, and probably even more importantly, 0 fumbles. So he can hold on to that ball, get into the end zone, touchdown, 6 points, kick it into the field goal.
I think that's a great pick. I think between Saquon Barkley and the ghost of Derrick Henry in Baltimore, I feel like Jonathan Taylor's sort of kind of gotten forgotten a little bit. Jonathan Taylor's amazing. Yeah, he's incredible. I'm gonna go with wide receiver Puka Nacua of the LA Rams. Listen to this. Yeah, you should know. Oh, yeah, that guy. 52 receptions on 62 targets, averaging 117.6 yards per game. That's most in the NFL. He's got 8 20-plus yard plays. That's most in the NFL. 214 of his 588 yards are yards after the catch to go along with no fumbles. Also, 31 of his catches resulted in a first down. Oh, that's also most in the NFL. This dude's blowing it out of the water in the wide receiver stats.
Sounds good.
Number 6, who is your quarter one defensive player of the year?
Now, I cheated on this one. I have a couple here. Tremaine Edmonds of the Chicago Bears. We haven't mentioned the Chicago Bears that much on this program. He has 40 total tackles. 21 of them are by himself, by his own self. 21. 2 interceptions too. So hey, not too bad over there in Chicago, because I mean they need all the help they can get over there. Now here's the second one. Now this one, I looked this up. I was like, wow, this guy's pretty good. Bobby Wagner. He's in his He's in his 14th season, and he has 42 total tackles. Second in the league. It's not too bad for a guy who's 28,000 years old. He has 18 of those by himself, 2 sacks, and 4 tackles for a loss. Bobby Wagner, you are a good player.
How old are you, Shane?
52.
He's not telling the truth, ladies and gentlemen, because he doesn't want to reveal that he's perhaps older than Bobby Wagner. But that being neither here nor there, it's football age. His football age is 28,000. Yeah. He's only 35. Speaking of, you said our friend from the Bears. I'll give you another one for a great player on a bad team. How about defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons of the Tennessee Titans? This is the worst team in the NFL. Jeffrey Simmons leads the league in virtually every single metric for interior linemen. Pass rush win rate, 17.6%. That's first in the NFL. Pressures, 14, tied for most in the NFL. Quick pressures, 8. That's 3 more than any other defensive tackle. All of that while being double teamed on 46% of snaps.
Jeez.
He's a bad man. Yeah. But we can't blame him for what's around him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a defensive tackle.
Hashtag free Jeffrey Simmons. Get him out of Tennessee.
We need someone who can rush the passer.
Last one. Question number 7. Who is your quarter one MVP?
Alan, you're going to love my answer. You're going to love my answer. I just know it.
Don't you do it.
You are.
Don't you do it.
I'm sorry to say this, Alan, but my MVP, no joke, is Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys.
What is wrong with you? Well, let's hear it. All right. What is it?
1,119 passing yards. Now, I'm sure a lot of that's trash. No, actually, I'm joking. It's Matthew Stafford. He's the number 1 MVP. I mean, he's good. Matthew Stafford. Oh, my goodness. I saw it last night. I'm like, oh, here we go again. Matthew Stafford's going to bring it back. 4th quarter comeback. Here we come. So I really don't have much to say about Matthew Stafford. That guy's great.
I'm going to agree with you. I feel like we're watching Matthew Stafford's last season, but we're unanimous on this one. A lot of people might say Josh Allen. He's the reigning MVP, and he's playing fantastically. But there's a lot of bias against back-to-back award winners. Matthew Stafford is getting 300.6 yards per game. That's the most by 21 yards. Second place isn't that close. 11 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That's the most touchdowns at this recording. Keep in mind, this guy was a complete no-show in training camp and preseason because of back injuries. The Rams weren't 100% sure where Matthew Stafford was going to come down on playing this season. And now through 5 weeks, he's the number 1 quarterback in the NFL. How about that?
Wow. He sounds good.
Before you get too excited, he's only 1 year older than Bobby Wagner. So,
well.
All right.
Can't be that happy.
All right. We're gonna wrap up really quick with the picks. We're gonna start off with the New York Football Giants going on the road to play the New Orleans Saints. The Saints despite being winless, are 1.5-point favorites in the game.
Really? The Giants and Saints? Who's going to watch that game?
Oh, I am, because our friend Gibbs over there in chat says Saints are winning their next 12. So we're going to be watching the Saints game.
I don't have much to say about that, but have fun. Have fun with that one.
You know what? I'm actually going to go with the Saints. Believe it or not, I'm going to take the Saints to win and cover in this game. Look, awesome first start win for Jackson Dart last week. On the road this week, comes crashing back down to reality. That's not a huge loss for the Giants. They're starting a rookie, but our friend Spencer Booty Cheeks Radler gets the W. We're moving on to another game that I know everyone will be tuning into. The Miami Dolphins, fresh off their first win of the season over the Jets, are going on the road to play the Carolina Panthers. Boy, talk about a couple of teams of a tale of 2 weeks. Teams that get utterly destroyed, huge victory, utterly destroyed. That's the Carolina Panthers. Or if you're the Dolphins, it's utterly destroyed and then first win of the year. What do you think? Carolina Panthers are 1.5-point underdogs at home.
Come on, Panthers. I got faith in you. Bryce Young, let's go. You're the first overall pick. Come on, you got this.
Yikes. I think even without Tyreek Hill, my gut says to go with the Dolphins, because the Panthers, like, where was that Panthers team that skunked the Falcons 30-0 a week? What happened to them? They appeared out of nowhere and then disappeared just as fast. It's so weird. All right. Next to last pick, the Washington Redskins going on the road to play the LA Chargers. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorites, but remember, breaking news, Jaden Daniels back in the lineup.
Look, I know I said you got to be careful about the Redskins. They could be a scary team, but got to go with the Chargers on this one.
Shane giveth and taketh away from segment to segment.
Hey, look, the Chargers
on
are
this
good.
program.
I'm sorry. It's gonna be a tough matchup.
Kyle Shanahan is gonna be named Coach of the Year and then fired the next day. At the end of the season,
and then
it's amazing.
And then a punch to the face, not a penalty.
You know what? This is actually kind of interesting, because the Chargers have been pretty hot, and then they dropped that really ugly game against the Giants. And the Giants are not a good team. And it's like, well, the Redskins are a better NFC East team than the Giants, so surely the Redskins would win, right? I think I'm going Chargers too. I don't know. I don't know why it is. I think the Chargers are going to rebound at home from that ugly loss, whereas the Redskins, look, Jaden Daniels is going to be rusty. So I don't think the Redskins are a great team. Last one, the Kansas City Chiefs, who absolutely murdered the Baltimore Ravens last week, are going on the road to play against your Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't look now, but the Jaguars are 3-1. Jaguars are 3.5-point underdogs at home with the better record. What do you think?
Well, look, Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's almost impossible to bet against them because it's Mahomes and Andy Reid. So I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the living crap out of the Jaguars. And I'm going to go ahead and bet the points are going to be 35-14. They're going to destroy them.
Wow. I think Xavier Worthy back in the lineup made a huge difference for the Chiefs last week. Now the Ravens have no defense, none whatsoever. To be fair, the Jaguars do actually field a defense. With that said, our picks aren't really like exciting when we agree on all of them. But I think the Chiefs. This is the week where everyone says, "Oh shit, the Chiefs are back." Damn it. I think the Chiefs go on the road and get a huge road AFC win. And next week we're complaining that it's 24/7 Mahomes on TV again.
Yeah. So sad.
Do you have a final thought?
I do actually have a final thought. Well, actually I have two final thoughts. First, it's not a penalty to punch someone in the head. And number two, did you know that there have been 16 blocked kicks so far this season? 16.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't that crazy? And this is the most since 2014 when there were 19 in their first month of play. So
what the hell was happening in 2014?
I
Jesus.
don't know. Special teams, though. Man, what's going on with special teams?
I'll give you my final thought. Also, breaking news: Lamar Jackson has been ruled out with his hamstring injury for the Ravens contest this weekend against the Houston Texans. Ultimately, it's probably the right decision. You shouldn't be risking your franchise quarterback under any circumstances. But if the Ravens can't get it done with Cooper Rush at quarterback against the Texans, the Ravens season is pretty much bye-bye.
Biggest disappointment, like I was saying. Well, thanks again, Alan, for a very entertaining episode of the show. I know we did a very good job. No mistakes whatsoever. Everything we did here was A-okay. I am the best producer in the entire world. Bye, everybody. Have a nice day.
We were great. You guys had a lovely time.
Keep hitting him in the head.